the rivalry that never died. Mick's lips curled into the faintest smile, the kind that hides 100 stories. The journalist could tell this wasn't going to be a safe answer. There was always Paul McCartney, Mick finally said. It wasn't a name chosen at random. Mick and Paul had been compared for decades, not just as musicians, but as symbols of two very different bands, the Rolling Stones and the Beatles. In public, there were smiles, handshakes, and polite compliments. But behind the scenes, there was a quiet, relentless competition. Paul's brilliant, Mick said, his voice measured, but he's not a saint. None of us are. Mick went on to explain that after the Beatles broke up, Paul's solo career exploded. His concerts were immaculate. Flawless singing, perfect arrangements, and a set list packed with hits that made crowds sing every word. But to Mick, there was something overly polished about it. It was clean, Mick said, almost too clean. Music needs a bit of danger. Without it, you're just putting on a very nice museum exhibit. The remark was sharp, but there was more to it than just criticism. Mick admitted that Paul's perfection drove him mad sometimes, but it also pushed him to work harder with the Rolling Stones. We had to prove we could still fill a stadium without playing it safe, Mick said. If Paul was going to be the golden boy, we were going to be the outlaws. This unspoken rivalry shaped entire tours. When Paul played to 50,000 people, Mick wanted 60,000. When Paul pulled out a surprise hit, Mick wanted to dig up a deep-cut Rolling Stones track that would blow fans away. And yet, for all the competition, there was respect. Mick told the journalist about a night in the late 80s when he and Paul found themselves in the same backstage lounge after separate shows. We talked about music until sunrise, Mick recalled, and I realized as much as we were rivals, we were also survivors. We'd both been through the wars. Still, Mick couldn't resist one last jab during the interview. Paul once called us a blues cover band, Mick said with a chuckle. Well, I'd rather be a blues cover band than a nostalgia act. The journalist laughed nervously, but Mick wasn't joking. He believed music had to keep evolving, to keep challenging the audience, and that was the real difference between them. Paul seemed content to live in the glow of his past, while Mick insisted on chasing the next big moment. But Mick wasn't done. There was one more name he wanted to talk about, someone who, in his eyes, had wasted the greatest talent of their generation. And when he said it, it would be the most brutal revelation of all.